What's going on, y'all? Um, yeah, gotta get y'all back into the room now. All right, y'all. Not sure what happened there, but I hope you guys can find us back over here. I give you all a second to join. Uh, my bad. I have no idea what happened. They just basically just stealing all my thunder. We gonna get y'all back in here in a second. Let me just. All right, y'all. If you're back in the mix, let me know. All right, I just went ahead and reset because I don't know what happened. All right, let me know. Y'all back? Y'all back? We back? We back? All right, we back. Whew. Yeah, that's kind of out the gate, out of the gate. Things are already, you know, kind of sticky. I'm gonna give people a second to come on back in, and you know, I think I need to, yeah, I need to end that one. I don't know why it's saying it's still live. All right, all right, we back. Y'all back in there? All right, I think I see y'all back in the mix. All right, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not sure what happened. Uh, for whatever reason, it was saying I didn't have any data going out, but I got a good stream. So yeah, welcome to the show tonight. That just kind of stole my thunder, man. I was getting ready to cook, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. We back Thursday night. I'm Steve Holmes. Welcome to another episode of The Real. Thank you all for joining me. Apologies for the mix up there uh, on the intro, but I think we are back rolling, and yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. The clip that you all were seeing was Dr. Sherry Paramore, and yesterday we had the big gift back, and it was a big deal, man. Like, we did pretty good. We did pretty good. I got some thoughts on that. I got a really big update regarding the presidential search, so we'll talk about that. And then we got some things happening on the campus that I think deserves our attention. So we'll talk about all the things tonight. The phone line will be open. I'm going to do open mic. We got quite a few things, quite a few things in the fire right now that we need to be able to talk to. So won't be with respect to any specific topic. But we will open the phone lines up for you guys to call and give your thoughts on whatever that may be, the topic at hand. Welcome to the chat. Let me get some shout outs here. 240 Shorty. All right. Here, Wildcats right back at you. My man Adrian. Faithful right there. Jason Gatlin. We back, baby. That's 85. Sudden Impact Drumline. My Drumline brother right there. Mr. Chuck Hunt, checking in from Monroe. He's with us weekly as well, man. So thank you all for joining us. So yeah, let's get right to the show. As always, I like to give my kudos to my real MVPs: Eric, Theron, Milan, Adrian. All four of them have contributed twice in the month of June, and I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all that have this show, our platform. We thrive on the contributions of our viewers and subscribers and watchers. So I thank you, Vernon, Darius, Oscar, Derek, Jason, Jamila, Lenitra, and Delonzo. I appreciate y'all for some of you are repeat contributors, but the people who have contributed twice this month, they are notated with the 2 behind their name. So listen, I thank y'all, man. It means the world to me. And I made it clear last week that I would hope that everybody that is watching this and people that are kind of paying attention to what's been going on. We had the big give back yesterday. I would hope that we all made donations to the school. Now, if you've made a donation to the school and you still want to support the AV, I'm all for it. But if you haven't donated to the school, please do so. Forego the AV and the Real this week, because we are only here because of the institution. And so I'm always thankful for anytime you give into the school is like the reason why we're doing it. So it's pretty amazing. Let's go back to the comments. Let's see. Oh, we got one Vickers in here, and then right below that we got another Vickers. Hey Vickers, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. My brother Johnny Mims, greetings, my brother. Good to see you. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Yesterday we had the big give back, and I know they had been kind of talking about it and really hyping it up. And initially, I think they came out of the gate like a week or 2 weeks ago and said they wanted to raise $200 and something thousand. Well, I mean, we blew that out of the door. They had a few heavy-handed donors, which we're grateful for those, but they hit nearly 800,000, which was incredible. So I'm thankful for that. And let's just kind of talk about it for a moment, because we got kind of an open show tonight. I got 2 big things to talk about. This is one of them. Three big things. This is one of them, and then we got 2 more things. Then we can open the phone lines. But I do want to park here on the big give back because it was bittersweet for a couple of reasons. Number one, shout out to Dr. Sherry Paramore, VP of Institutional Advancement. She was in the opening credits. She does such a wonderful job, and she is such a graceful woman and a leader on our campus, and she's been doing a great job since she's been there, despite the circumstances that I think she's had to kind of navigate through. I want to publicly tell her thank you for all you're doing for the institution, because it does not go unnoticed, and I know that greater will be in store for you and the position and the mission of the Office of Institutional Advancement. And so that's amazing. I think, and this is just me, y'all, these are the numbers. And so we did $797,000, $111. I think I said that weird, but whatever. Which is a really big number for giving in a single day. I don't know if that broke any records or whatnot, but that's a huge haul for our school, and it is amazing that we've been able to do that. And when we need it, I know a good portion of that will go towards the graduation assistance program. I think they call it the GAP program, and that helps students who have a deficit on their account or a balance to help supplement that. I don't think it clears it, but they can go to that resource if they and I think they can be granted up to a certain amount, a couple $1,000s or something like that, which is amazing. They didn't have that when I was in school. And I remember there was a couple of semesters where I could have used a little bit of financial assistance, but nonetheless, this is one of the reasons why we give back. And I know people are like, well, we don't know where the money going, this and that. Listen, we got to get past that. We know where the money's going. The way they did the website is it told you exactly where you could put your money, which is great. But I got a little bit of a bone to pick. And it is with yes, alumni. My bone is to pick with you all, and not myself, because I gave. But listen, $797,000, almost $800,000. Nothing to sneeze at, all right? But that was only from 407 single donors. Do y'all realize that our marching band has like 250 people, 260 on any given year? Some years they're closer to like 300, on a really good year. Um, 407 people is not a lot of people. It's not a lot. And that pretty much tracks with what our overall giving percentages have been over the years. And what is our giving percentage? Well, I'm glad you asked. 2%. 2%. Now, let me be fair and say that um that 2% is based, I'm assuming the total number of alumni is around 20, 30,000. I took the lesser of the two numbers to help us out at 20,000. I know there's at least 20,000 alumni, right? Well, 2%, right? That's what that 400 number is. And that is kind of, that's an unacceptable number. You know what I'm saying? That's not nearly enough people. And listen, it only if um just imagine you got 20,000 alumni. Even if imagine what that number would be if 1,000 of us, gave. And I feel like sometimes we may feel like we gotta write big checks, and we feel like we gotta like do these grand gestures to the school. And I know the school will gladly take whatever types of big checks you write to them, but it doesn't always have to be $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 check. It can be 50. It can be 25. I mean, it's all going essentially to the same pot. And I think we sometimes rely on big donors to do the heavy lifting, and we need both. We need big donors to do some lifting, and then we need just everybody else to just do their part. Just do your part. Just $20. If that's all you can afford for the rest of the year, then shoot the school $20, $100. Me and Michelle, we talked yesterday. We said we were going to give. I won't disclose the amount, but we knew, obviously well out that we both gave separately. She gave and I gave, and so two of that 407 was me and my wife, right? So what I'm saying is we just have to do better about because listen, y'all are pay attention again to what's happening with Florida colleges and schools, and we do not want to be reliant on the state to fund our school. We want to be self-sufficient. We want to be able to do what we need to do and move how we want to move, and not be at the mercy of the state of Florida. Right now we're private, but we get a lion's share of our budget from two sources. The state is cutting us, I think, and I think they just read us up, which is good. They're going to keep us as we're in the budget this year again, and then tuition, right? That's it. There is no other recurring sources of income, so we have to fill the gap, and we've got to supplement where there is shortages. And so initiatives like this helps the school to do that. So while I'm proud that we were able to do almost $1 million, we could have surpassed $1 million yesterday if everybody held their way. So yeah, I'm getting on y'all a little bit. For those that didn't give, listen, we have to be better. This is a great comment. They said, Willie Jackson says there are 18,000 verifiable with addresses for alumni. 18,000, y'all. That is a humongous number for such a small school. It's a big number. And you telling me 400 only 407 people? And again, I don't know if it was the school marketing or maybe the campaign just wasn't robust enough. I don't know. But for whatever reason, I just knew that number was going to be much bigger than that, in terms of the amount of donors. Uh, but it wasn't. And so, we can be better. And this is Segal Buchanan. And for those of you who don't know who Segal is, she is the SGA president. How you doing, Segal? She says any donation, no matter the size, makes a difference. Y'all, that is from our SGA president, right? No donation. It doesn't. Listen. It's not too. It's not too big. Not too small. Just give. You know. And they got it to where you can put on. You ain't even got to disclose they'll put your name up there, but they won't even disclose the amount. If you ashamed of only giving $5, $10, cool. Make sure they don't. You shouldn't be ashamed of any amount. But I'm just saying. I know how we can be sometimes. We may not be where we want to be in life and all this stuff. So we, you know. Anyways, that was my rant for tonight. I got another rant, but less ranty than what that was. Um, I knew I forgot to do something, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. So I'm gonna give you guys an announcement. Before we get into I think our larger topic tonight. I got some breaking news. Um, no, I'm not breaking who the president is. No, I'm not doing that. But I can tell you, uh, from my sources, tomorrow. All right. Be on the lookout. Keep your ears to the ground tomorrow. I don't know what time. I don't know when they're going to do it, but tomorrow we're going to know. Um, that is barring. I think the issue, from what I know, is they are trying to cross some T's and dot some I's, and iron out last minute details with the candidate. And so it's going to happen tomorrow. All signs point that it's going to happen tomorrow. So again, you guys and gals, be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a president. All right. Don't know who. And let me be honest. I have bugged and I have called several of the board members, trying to figure out any hints, any smoke signals, any. I was listening on calls or messages. They have been. I mean, I just figured it was going to leak at some point, and so I was waiting on it, but it didn't leak, and that's the sign of a really good board that is all on the same page. That it didn't. At least it didn't leak to me. I just knew I was gonna find out, but I don't know. And people have been sending me texts, messages, all this stuff. Ask me, do I know? And I tell them I don't. And they're like, Steve, you know, I know you know, but I'm being honest. I don't know. I don't know. So we'll know tomorrow. And for those of you that want to again comment on that, I'll have the phone line open here in a moment. And I think I messed up one of my screens. I knew I forgot something, but that's okay. We gonna still talk about it. So there's an issue right now with the. It's not an issue. We're having a bit of a. Um, I would call it a champagne problem. And for those of you that have been paying attention, um, there's a housing shortage right now on the campus, and there's a lot of I got hit up about 4 or 5 times within the last maybe 3 or 4 days, with some disgruntled parents, some disgruntled students. Most of them are juniors and seniors that I think recently found out that they don't have a place to stay on campus this upcoming semester, or at the very least, they've been waitlisted. And so there's two sides of this coin. And let me start by addressing the students and the parents of the kids who don't have or don't know if they'll have housing or room and board for the upcoming semester. listen, that is not an easy place to be. And you know, um, I don't, I don't know how to. Again, I'm just talking. I'm a talking head on YouTube, but I will do my best to help, ask questions. And I had a mother. Let me see if I can find her text message. I mean, not her text, her message she sent to me. And I'll read it because I respect listeners. She said, "Good evening. My daughter and her roommate were able. Oh no, this is the before me. It said I wanted to address something that has, as a parent of a returning student. Hopefully, you can address this with the board of directors. I mean, I'm just a YouTube talking head, but it said, what is the university doing about student housing? The housing portal opened up yesterday for returning freshmen and sophomores at 9 a.m. and it crashed before 9:30 a.m. Several students who will be sophomores are on a waiting list for housing. The campus has no more housing. What is the university doing to increase housing? They had a record number of freshmen in my daughter's class and will have another large class incoming. Affordable off-campus housing is not available near the university. And my daughter said there is a dorm that was used during COVID that is vacant and just sitting there. I'm not sure what dorm that is. Do you know who parents can reach out to address this manner? Sincerely, a concerned parent. I won't read her name, but I got that one on Monday, and I responded to her and we got back. Now the good news is those two students, I think her daughter and her friend got their stuff situated, but there were like 4 or 5 other parents that reached out to me and asked, what are we doing about the housing? What is happening there? And I'll be honest, I don't know. I didn't even know it was a problem until I started getting messages, and then I saw the post from the school that is waitlist basically, and that's it. Now, what I do know, and here's a ray of hope for the students that don't have rooms yet. You've been waitlisted, so number one, make sure that you've got all your documents and your paperwork and all that stuff in. Make sure you have everything you need so they can't say you don't have this or you don't have that. That's step number one. Step number two is to be patient, because what happens is, just because a kid pays a deposit for room, that doesn't mean they're gonna show up, right? Something, kids, they end up getting offers or last minute offers to different schools. So there will likely be rooms that will open up. And some people just put the deposit down just in case, they do decide to come to Cookman and they want to make sure they got their room. So all of that stuff is going to play out over the next, few weeks. I know school starts in 2 months, but when people are like, listen, that's not enough time. I did call, I won't say who I spoke to, but I did speak to a representative of housing, and it wasn't housing, it was another department, but this person did say that they have been forthcoming and providing information about the housing well before I think they did the wait list. So I don't know if maybe there's a information gap with parents or students or incoming people who are trying to get dorms. But I do know it's not a good place to be if you're a parent or a returning student, to realize, I don't have any place to stay. And I already know in Florida, rent is crazy, even in Daytona. So get creative if you have to. Be proactive. Start looking for Airbnbs. If you don't have a place to stay and you're trying to get to school, especially if you're like a senior, then, it might be time to, it's probably time to get off campus anyways if you're a senior. That's just my thing. Most schools now are utilizing their on-campus dorms for freshmen and sophomores. That is a growing trend at colleges, not just Bethune-Cookman. So I know it seems unfair, but on most college campuses, they are reserving dorms for freshmen and sophomores, and then they're expecting kids as you get older, as you get, as you get more mature, they will, people working part time or whatever. They want you to get a an apartment or off campus housing or what have you. I did. I think my junior year I moved off campus, and just also, so I don't. This doesn't need. I'm not. I don't want to be like. I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say this, but there's quite a few comments, and people are like, "Well, Cookman needs to build new dorms." Yeah, yeah. Yes. Nothing gets by you. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's me being a little bit snarky. Yes, we need new dorms. We need more dorms. But even if that's not gonna solve the problem for this year, so I know there's been a few people that are commenting on a couple of our posts and like the school needs to build new dorms. Yeah, you think the school is growing, and even if we got $10 million tomorrow to build dorms, $20 million to build dorms, you're looking at how long? Another a year and a half before a student even steps foot in them. So that's the bad part about it. That's the you hope, you wish you don't have to have those types of discussions, but that is just the reality of the school. Now the other side of that, most alumni, most of the seasoned saints, the people who are out of school, they don't see the housing issue in the same light. They read the title differently. They see growth, right? And that's true. It's good news. Again, it's a good problem to have too many students on campus. And I know y'all don't hate. I know y'all don't like to hear that, but a school has two main functions, two purposes. One is to enroll as many students as they can, and two, to graduate as many students as they can. That's the whole ball game for a college. So anytime the school is at a point where they're kind of bursting at the seams with enrollment and bursting at the seams with just growth, yeah, these are, again, that's why I call the show Growing Pains, because like that's a problem, but in the best way possible. You'd rather that than the school have empty dorms and too many beds, because that means, and that's where we were back in 2020, 2021. The school couldn't make budget because it didn't have enough kids to fund the school they were going to, and to pay the teachers, and to fund the program. So guess what? They got to make cuts, So when you have too many, at the very least, budgets will be restored. The school can continue to save. They can start to make plans to grow. And so you only do that with the maximum amount of students possible. And so the dark side of that is juniors, some sophomores and seniors, they may get displaced because there ain't nowhere for you on campus. We got to get the new kids in. We got to keep a closer eye on the 17 and 18-year-olds that are coming to our institution. And they need to, they got to be able to take off on a strong footing. They can't stay off campus. Most colleges, even the top schools, are not going to have freshmen staying off campus. And so, again, that's just where we are. Let me hit some of these comments. VA Techie says, I personally just happened to check my spam email and noticed that it was giving day. I didn't see any marketing towards it. Though I knew it was, I called at the last second. That's fair. That I think the school has got to figure out a way to get around just emails. And it was on social quite a bit leading up to it. But I do think the school missed maybe some opportunities to continue to drive it home. But that's fair. I know some people probably just didn't get it. Let's see. Warren L says, yes, my niece is a sophomore sophisticated. She's on the housing waiting list. And so that makes me think about people who are, the band and other sports, and who are upperclassmen who are gonna have to try to figure out where they're staying in the fall, and that's daunting, man. A lot of parents just don't have the resources to just go. You already know, some of the apartment complexes in Daytona, they want 2-3 months rent up front and all that stuff because you're a college kid. So it's tough. What's going on, Tiff? Glad you joined us. Glad you joined. What else we got? I'm just going through these comments. This is a big one. Maybe off-campus housing is our future. I mean, listen. We were out here talking about stadiums and stuff and in arenas. Yeah, a new dorm, some new off-campus housing would absolutely help in a lot of ways upperclassmen. Also, we have a space for 2 new dorms. You know how I know? Because we tore down 2 dorms. So space isn't an issue for the dorms or for the new dorms. Now, again, I don't know if they would put 2 new dorms there because we still need the student center that we were promised like a decade ago. Y'all remember that student center? They had a nice fancy picture and they had the renderings and it was supposed to be like state of the art, like $8 million, $10 million state of the art student center. I remember that. Yeah, what happened with that? What happened with that? Whoever gonna be the president, we need a new student center. Says the 407 donor stat for all donors on the website. It says gifts. They classify gifts as those who donated at least 1,000. Now I don't. That's a good. That's a good point. That's a good point. But I'm pretty sure because I don't know. That might be one. That might be one for Dr. Sherry Paramore. Dr. Sherry Paramore, if you're watching, chime in. You probably not. You got more important stuff to do, like raise money. But that's a good question. That's a good question. Yeah. So listen. That's just one of those things. And again, I've had quite a few parents and students. And if you go on my post on Instagram, man, it is. I mean, it's some angry people, and they're not pleased with how the school handled it. And again, I don't know how they handled it. I didn't. I don't know. Again, I just started hearing about the crisis or the challenges that we're having on campus housing or with campus housing this week. We got okay. Mariah Dream says there were a lot of glitches in the system and some students were able to get in before housing officially opened. Plus, this is the first time housing has ever opened in July. Again, these are things we don't know. And that's good that people are chiming in with some of these insights on what has been happening. And I don't know when, I don't know how. It's Mariah. If you don't mind me asking you a follow-up question, when you said that this is the first time housing has ever opened in June, does it typically open sooner, say in like May or April, or like later? And like I would imagine you mean earlier, because I know it wouldn't open in July, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to know if you have that answer, which is important to know. Again, these are growing pains, y'all, growing pains, and we had a period of contraction. From say 2016 to 2023, 2022, 2023, and now we're at a point where we are at a point of inflation, and the school size and enrollment, everything is kind of turning around. And my prayer is that the institution is ready to receive the attention that it's about to get, that it's ready to receive the students, that it's ready to receive like all the good things, and that we don't squander this opportunity to really like push the growth of the brand forward. And I don't know if you all realize like how big of a moment this is for Bethune-Cookman. Just given the stakes educationally and academically in the state, it's a big deal. Like it's a big deal. And so, all right, let's go ahead and get the phone lines going. I am going to step back for a quick break for a message, and then we'll come right back with our phone line. All right. This segment has been brought to you by Sky Confections. Are you in the Metro Atlanta area and planning a celebration or a corporate event? Let Sky Confections make your day a little sweeter. Visit www.skyconfections to order your next custom cake jars, or book a hosted cake decorating experience. Be sure to like and follow Sky Confections on all social media platforms as well. All right, y'all. It's that time. It's open mic. The phone line is now open. And yeah, if you can, go ahead and call in and let's talk about these issues. Let's talk about the president. We are apparently going to have a selection announced tomorrow. And we got our first caller, so let's see. You're live on the Reel with Steve. Who am I speaking with?
This is Chuck Hunt calling from Monroe, Louisiana. I know I'm an outsider calling in, but happy Juneteenth to you all. And I was just interested in the conversations that you're having about the various things that are going on with your alma mater.
Yes, sir.
And what we've been talking about, I know I don't want to sound like a broken record calling in, but like I said, I imagine one of the things you want the president to be a person that's engaging, be it you're there for academics and like I said for extracurricular like athletics, and someone that's your coach Reggie Diaz and athletic director, that he can somebody that would engage with him about athletics, and which I look at your band director Dr. Donovan Wells.
Yes, sir.
Somebody can engage with him, because and like I said, you don't want a president that's have like I always been saying, have a snooty attitude towards things that are all about the academia part of it, and you see that time with schools. But now, I'm not saying all presidents are like that, because I know some presidents that are very engaging when it comes to athletics and all the other things, band or whatever it is. They just love the overall school, and I know you all have, I know what think about. God rest his soul, Dr. Oswald Bronson, what he did for your school. He
right.
kind of to your school like that school, like your rival school was with Dr. Frederick Humphreys. People just love him, and that's why people like it. Like we talked about Morehouse. Morehouse always, when they talk Morehouse, you're going to hear Dr. Benjamin Mays. By the way, that's where he's interred, right there on the campus. That's where they circle before they go. They had a graduation there, and he and his wife were interred there on the campus. And Dr. Mays did a lot. He had to get them out of a crisis for that time. He came here in 1940. He was Dr. Martin King's president. Yeah, he had a crisis during that time, and he had taught at Howard. But I know you want someone that's just about the overall institution, and someone that's engaging with the students. That's the reason why you have a school there, because of students, and that's what Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune would want. Someone that's engaging with the student body. That's what you're there for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of I think there's just a lot of people who just they just want the best, and I think we're at this. I think at this point, everybody's just waiting to see how things are going to turn out. And so, yeah, we I think we're primed for a really strong comeback. You know,
Yes.
but yeah, thank you, Mr. Hunt. You kind of a weekly caller now. Thank you for calling in, and we'll do this again. Maybe not next week, but soon.
All right. Like I said, I don't want the faithfuls upset me because I'm a non BCU person,
Yes,
but
sir.
I love what any of these schools do. Yeah,
That's
don't hold
okay,
that
man.
against me.
That's okay. Listen, there is room. There is room.
All right, you all take care and enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth. That's what
Oh yeah.
freedom is all about, having the freedom to do things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. Thank you.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
land on that one. All right,
All
take
right.
care.
Yeah, I forgot it was Juneteenth, y'all. I went to work though. I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to take off. Anyways, yeah. So Bunniness says, actually, there was a period of time where Dr. Bronson had to do off-campus housing. Well, I remember. I'm old enough to remember. You know, the staying in hotels, and I know they've done that quite a few times in the past. And so that's not. I don't think that some of the parents have realized that that has been the case. But I know my freshman year, some of my freshman brothers and sisters were off campus at. I don't remember the hotels, but they were in hotels for the semester. And so Cookman has always had this problem, but this is not a problem unique to Bethune-Cookman. There are plenty, especially the HBCUs, plenty of housing issues to go around. And again, I don't know. I don't know how they plan for it because at some point, you're going to recruit infinitely. You're not going to say we're going to go and recruit, 1,000 new freshmen. No, you're going to recruit as many as you can, because you don't know how many of them are going to actually apply, and then how many of them are going to actually get accepted, and then how many are actually going to submit their deposit. So I know there's some math that has to happen, and there are some things that have to, from a planning and logistics standpoint, you just I know it's tough to plan for. So all I'm saying is give the people in housing a little bit of grace, because all of it has to make sense, right? Admissions has to know that they've got to get X amount of number of kids in the school, and then housing has to be able to say, okay, this is the number we need, but I don't know how they're able to be accurate in those numbers at all. I think maybe not wait until June, to deal with like housing, and maybe that was the problem. That was, I think, the most common thing I heard was that kids were saying that it's 2 months out. Like, how am I supposed to find an apartment 2 months out? You know what I'm saying? And that's a valid argument. And so let me go back to the comments. Mariah says, I seen this, not sure how the school didn't. And then she says, usually, I asked a question about housing, and my question to her was that they did it in June this year, and so when do they normally do it? And I guess April, May, but this year they changed the system, and without the $200 rule, a lot of students got in early due to glitches. I know people who secured housing back in April. So yeah, I remember the $200 rule. Like, you had to pay the $200 to secure your spot, and that meant once you paid that $200, like, you were on campus. And if you if you didn't pay the $200, then you didn't have a spot. And that's how it's always been. So it sounds like with the glitch in whatever system they had, people got in, didn't pay the deposit, and were able to secure housing. That's what it sounds like happened. And again, I don't know. I'm speculating on all of this. But I wanted to make sure we talked about it because, again, these are the issues that, like, we got to talk about. And to be fair to the school, I reached out to a couple of people about the situation, and I didn't hear back. So, take from that what you may. And I do know a lot of people are off today or out of school. So, yeah, it's Juneteenth. So, I guess that would probably explain why it was so quiet today. Um, but something like that, you would hope that somebody would be able to come and at least say, okay, this is what happened, this is what didn't happen. But to no avail. But I get it. It's technically a holiday, so I get it. And let's see. I think we're getting another caller. You're live on the reel with Steve. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Segal Buchanan.
Hey, Segal, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for calling, ladies and gentlemen. We have Miss Segal Buchanan. She is our SGA president, and she's called into the show, which is great. What you got going on?
I personally just wanted to touch base on the entire housing situation from a student perspective as form as leadership perspective side. For me, the entire situation is obviously just very disheartening and complicated for both sides, the university and the student body. Like Mariah said, I kind of seen this coming, and I also don't believe that this is something that should have happened in the first place. Yes, we're excited about the groundbreaking interest in students wanting to come to BCU. We're excited about the recognition that BCU is receiving, but at the same time, you have students who have been here for the past 2, 3, going on 4 years who are on the brink of graduating, and now you're being told that housing has reached full capacity. And to me, it kind of seems like there's no actual solution to what's going on the moment for this issue. Students are being told that, in order to strengthen your waitlist position, by July 1st, you should complete your FAFSA, pay your enrollment deposit, accept your financial aid. But my whole question is, what then happens when July 1st comes and housing is still full? What are these students supposed to do? The student body kind of feels as if backs have been turned on them. Yes, we're so excited about the incoming class, but it seems like we're forgetting about the ones who have already been here. So now you have students who have to explore the option of moving off campus or finding other living arrangements. And let's not ignore the fact that it is hard to find a job in Daytona Beach, Florida, much less a good paying job as a college student to even afford those living expenses. So it's very burdensome, especially for seniors who, a lot of us are on the brink of graduating. We have to pay for graduation applications, graduation pictures. A lot of us are going off to law school, medical school, graduate school, relocating to new cities and new states. So all of these financial obligations and responsibilities are popping up out of nowhere, and they have to be taken into account onto our own personal side and our family side, on top of paying tuition and then just simply trying to survive in today's economy. So I think this goes back to what the first time when I was on the show, I said, at some point we have to start asking the hard questions and looking at both sides of the issue. Like, yes, we're happy about the increase in enrollment and the interest in our tuition, but what is going to happen for students who have been here, students who have invested their time, money, and energy into this university? What is going to happen for them? And I think that's my biggest issue as student body president, where I don't see the outcome to this being positive for a lot of students. One of my friends, she's number 126 on the wait list out of we don't know how many, and she's going to be a graduating senior. So you're placing students into a position where it's kind of like a fight or flight, because we don't know what the next move is going to be. School starts in less than 50 days. It's not easy to go get an apartment in Bellamy. It's not easy. So it's yes, okay, you read the headlines, groundbreaking enrollment, groundbreaking this, that, and the third. But it's what about the students who this is actually affecting? And I think those are the questions that we really have to stop and answer and say, hey, yes, there is a positive to this side, but there's also a lot of negatives that are coming from this situation.
Yeah, that is a sobering take on the situation, and I'm really glad you called, because again, we're not students, and a lot of us, especially the people, most of the listeners are alumni. I do know some students listen. Obviously, you're listening, and so we don't always get the the perspective from you all on the ground. So it is very important that you call in and you let us know like how you're feeling, how other students are feeling. I'm going to assume that your room and situation is taken care of, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. But obviously, I know there are, like you said, 100 and some odd people still on the waiting list. And again, like I don't know. I just don't know what the short term solution is for anybody, because again, there's just only so many beds. But you really do bring up a good point with like the walking the fine line of getting the freshmen in and taking care of the new people, but then forgetting about the seniors and juniors. And I know at some point, maybe you don't see it this year, or maybe you do, but that's absolutely going to affect graduation rates. And
Yeah.
like that's the one thing you don't want to have to fall by the wayside because of an issue like housing. Like if you're gonna be bad at something, like housing is one of those things you really want to try to get right. But honestly, it's not a. I mean, this is not an easy fix. It's not a quick fix. I imagine that they'll probably be trying to work out things with local hotels and things to at least do patchwork with that. But I really you kind of paint a picture that I think all of us, especially the adults in the room, it makes it kind of real what some of these kids are going through. And I'm glad you called because you're speaking on behalf of them as SGA president, and I know that that'll go a long way in maybe not helping them change that situation like today, but I think just knowing that they're being heard, a lot of the time that's half the battle. It's just being heard. So I appreciate you calling, Seagal.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just keep in touch with me. I know we had chatted earlier about the gift thingy, but we could consider the Av. We got your back on that, and let's keep in touch about the housing stuff. If you find out anything that you feel might not be, the best thing, just let me know, and we'll call and talk to who we can talk to help either push it forward or get answers or whatever it is. If any student is going through something that you may know, have them reach out to us, and we'll do our best to help connect them with whomever they need to talk to.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Holmes. I really appreciate it.
All righty, thank you for calling.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Y'all, man, listen, it's easy. It's easy for us, especially the alumni and the adults who have been through and gone through it, to not really be on campus and have to be on the ground and see what's going on. But that's an issue, man. That housing deal is an issue that the school is going to have to find a way to address. I think they're gonna figure that out, but it probably won't be. But before you piss some people off and piss some parents off, or lose some students, and this is like going into a store that you really want something from, or going into a place of business, and the place of business not having the thing that you're ready to buy. It's like the cardinal sin of any place of business. It's like going to McDonald's to get a burger and they tell you they out of burgers. It's like, well, what are we doing here? That's kind of what this is like to a college student when they get to Daytona, or they get to Tallahassee or Miami or Tampa or Orlando, and they think everything is good, and you realize you don't have a place to stay, and it just kind of defeats the purpose. So we got a couple of comments. Donovan Johnson says, I think BCU may be trying to transition transition to a first year student only campus and pushing slash encouraging upperclassmen off campus. There are benefits, but they have to go about it the right way. I gotta agree. I think that's what's happening, and I think this is what this is kind of the blowback from this now, is that I think there's that transition period from being able to allot so many beds for upperclassmen and juniors and seniors, and then being able to allot so many beds for freshmen and sophomores, to a thing where the entire on campus housing situation will be for like first year, second year students. I've seen Cookman's not the first school I've seen do that. I mean, that I got my own daughter who is graduated next year, so we're looking at schools now, and I'm seeing a lot of the same argument being made at the schools that she's looking at. So it's just tough. It's tough. Tiff Marshall says always have to cast a wide net with recruiting. You have to. You have to. If you're trying to make sure you've got full beds, you can't. You have to overcompensate with the amount of kids you talk to. If you got let's just call it 1,000 beds available on campus, and you want to make sure that you fill 1,000 beds on campus, you probably got to go talk to 10,000 kids. Maybe not that many, maybe 8,000, 7,000 to 8,000 kids, just to get that 1,000. It's a numbers game, and it's a fudgy number game for Malik, who does all. You see Malik, he everywhere. Malik DeJusty, he's everywhere recruiting and stuff. And again, it's a testament to his effectiveness and his team's effectiveness in getting students to Daytona. But then after that, it's like, okay, he's done his job. What is the overall school doing to make sure we can house the kids? So again, it's one of those things, man. Back to the comments. Let's see. Willie Jackson says we have 3 empty dorms on campus that need to be torn down, but we don't have any plans to rebuild, and don't think the new president we named has the contracts in the state to solve our housing problem. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't know what the president is going to be able to do once she or he or whomever gets in. I don't know. I don't know what the state would have to do with that. The biggest thing is, can the president, again, their first order of business is going to be to raise money, and a lot of it. So whomever gets chosen and whoever gets announced, their first order of business is going to be, okay, welcome to Bethune-Cookman. Go find us $20 million. That's the job for whomever is going to be announced tomorrow. And then everything else will just have to fall in after that. Let's see. During my Bronson years, they put me in a hotel for the first 3 weeks. I know the frustration, but there will be a solution. Some of these students won't show up because of different circumstances. That's kind of the point that I was making earlier, was that I think right now it sucks because we're 2 months out of first day, or I forgot what they call the first day of move-in day. They're 2 months out from move-in day, and you don't have a place, and you're on a wait list, and you're number 100 and something on that wait list. Well, what I know is everybody who, again, paid deposits, and all the kids who probably are taking up a spot that didn't pay a deposit or what have you, that's, some of those beds are not actually taken. So I know it puts you in a bad position if you're trying to plan for school in August. But it may work out. It may work out for the ones who are serious. And I really do hope it works out for a lot of those seniors who are getting ready to get out of here, who are in the last semester or whatnot, and maybe they got to stay on campus. Maybe their situation doesn't allow them to be off. I don't know, but I hope it works out for them. It's just a sticky situation, man. Sticky situation. Look who it is. I'm not gonna give you no mess, Mr. McCullum. But I appreciate you for tuning in, brother. That being said, y'all, listen, tomorrow, tune in because I think we're gonna get a president. I think we're gonna know somebody tomorrow, and I'm really excited because we waited a long time, and I'm just like, I came into the week thinking, all right, we're gonna know Monday, Tuesday, and then Monday came, and then Tuesday came, and I'm like, all right, they might do it with the big give back, and then that came and went. So I did do some digging around the day, and I was able to get a source to let me know that an announcement is likely to be made tomorrow. Likely. Again, they're working on the deets and all of that stuff. And this was supposed to be, technically, y'all, this was supposed to be my last show before I go on break. But I can't not just end it without finalizing. And we've been on this journey since January. Like, I can't just not have a show before the climax. You know what I'm saying? Bad joke I was about to say, but I'm going to leave it right there because I don't want to get in trouble. But we are supposed to finish this thing out, and I want to be there, and I want to make sure that we can talk to the right people. I do know that we may have a board member on next week to talk about the process and the final selection, and just to give us some updates as we shut down going into the summer. So I think that's going to be like the thing. Before we go, I did have one gentleman reach out to me last week. When we go on this little break or hiatus, I am going to be looking to beef up the team here for the show and then for our social media. If you know of anybody, it could be students too. If you know of anyone, or if you have some social media ability or some technical ability, please reach out to me. I need your help. I need to revamp some things. I need to grow the team, and I want to do that during this hiatus. Because it's necessary. And so, yeah, I'm a little bit over time, but I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Oh, we got a rattler in the house that says, I pray the best for BCU's presidential selection. Please make this work. We need all of our HBCUs to thrive. We have to continue these legacies unapologetically. Love from a rattler. Listen, love right back at you. I ain't gonna give you a hard time. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. And we're praying for y'all as well. We know that is a tough situation that y'all are dealing with. But we always got your back. Y'all, I'm out. I have a show next week. It probably will be on Tuesday. Not sure yet. We're trying to figure that out now. But yeah, I think that's it. Parents, if you're having housing issues, make sure you're reaching out to the right people. And yeah. Hey, Wildcats. Peace.